Welcome back, everyone, to the Radio Horror YouTube channel with the Blonde in Front of Fear, covering not a horror movie, more of a science fiction movie with, I guess, horror elements in it in some way. But we didn't want to be left out with our opinion about the biggest movie of the history of films of all time, with $350 million opening weekend. Now, at the time of recording this, has made over $600 million and $3 trillion all over the galaxy. Avengers End Game, the end to Marvel's Avengers plotline with Katie Glidewell.
Hey, boys and girls, or ghouls and boys.
Geeks
Since
and
this isn't
nerds.
really horror, but it's
Or geeks and nerds.
or geeks and nerds, yeah.
$723 million as of this weekend.
God. Avengers End Game, directed by the Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe Russo, and starring, all the Avengers. I don't think I need to say them because there's about like 5 dozen. But this, I will say, yes, it has made tons of money. It can have more mine soon because honestly, kids, it is worth it. Now, I call this Avengers Chill Game because after 5 full body chills, I actually lost count. It is so good, it's not even funny. The devastation from Infinity War's ending begins right again at the beginning of Endgame with a punch to the heart. From the opening scene to the closing credits, bring the tissues and have them handy. There are so many things that make this film fantastic. This is equally a nostalgia trip and closure for not only the audience, but the characters themselves. The CGI is superb, and the de-aging is absolutely spectacular. Alan Silvestri, that does the score, should win an Oscar because while you have the familiarity of the Avengers score, it also turns it up a notch and is just incredible. This also does a beautiful job of showing kids that adults can have male and female friendships with respect and unconditional love without any sexual tension.
You're talking about Hawkeye and Black Widow?
Yes.
Okay, Hawkeye and Black Widow, however, did have a relationship once upon a time.
Well, I didn't get that in the film, but it's also Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch, like how they have a friendship, and Black Widow and Captain America and stuff.
Which is very funny because when when Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch joined the Avengers alongside Quicksilver, when the original Avengers left and they left it to Cap, and he ran basically now a team of former terrorists and criminals, Hawkeye wanted to get in on Scarlet Witch's business so badly that it drove her brother crazy because of their kind of weird connection. And that was like a thing Stan Lee and the writer, the Jack Kirby, wrote constantly, was Hawkeye trying to get into Scarlet Witch's business.
See, I didn't get that in the film.
No, not in the film because he's a family man.
Yeah, in the film, I do feel like this does show kids that boys and girls can be friends without there being weird sexual attention, and it's also has fantastic female role models and empowerment throughout the film, especially during this powerhouse battle. 5 years has passed since the ending of Infinity Wars, and there's still no hope to reverse what happens throughout the universe, and then something does emerge. I know we'll probably get into spoilers, but kids, this is, it's not a perfect film, but it is damn near close. I would advise you to go to the bathroom before you go to the theater and stay to the end, because while they don't show any secret clips like they usually do show in Avengers films, there is a significant part that, goes back to the very first. Now, I do want to say there is one fault that I had, if we're going to go into spoilers. There's a War Machine and Nebula are getting a Power Stone. She incinerates her hand, so it's just metal. And when there's a section where they go back, it's not the Nebula that and I feel like someone should have known that. That was the only fault I had in the film. Other than that, It's got the best fight scenes I've seen in any of the 21 films of this series.
Real quick about the Nebula thing. Hold on.
Absolutely spectacular.
Real quick about the Nebula thing. She is a non-interactive, isolated person who barely talks to anybody. It's not very hard to replay that all over again.
Yeah, I just thought that with her incinerating in her hand, they should have noticed that.
Oh, she had a glove. If you notice, before she summons her father, she has gloves on, and she unwraps her gloves. She takes her gloves off.
Yeah, and she grabs the Power Stone, and it totally fries her hand and stuff.
But she's wearing gloves when she summons Thanos, covering up her hands.
When she got back to home base,
she also stole
the gloves, and they wouldn't have seen that.
No. But you're missing. She also stole Nebula's coat too, because Nebula doesn't have her coat on when she's in her cell.
No, I saw that. I know that too. But I mean, I feel like that should have been. They should have. One of them should have seen it. Well, especially War Machine should have seen that. One of them should have seen that she didn't that her hand was fine, and War Machine should have definitely seen that.
Again, I still think she because she was wearing the coat, and then you see her with the gloves on when she summons Thanos. That would basically hide any of her tail, that her arm was half incinerated when she went for the Power Stone.
I'm gonna say that's the one fault I have with it.
You didn't have a fault with the rat summoning Scott Lang?
No, I mean, honestly, I kind of forgot about that, but and I didn't have a fault with Captain America staying after, and because I know people have been like, oh, he faulted the time thing and all that stuff. It's not if Captain America didn't need to see anything. Captain America could have just stayed in Peggy's basement and been her husband and done nothing for 60 years or 70 years, and he would have been absolutely fine with that.
Begs the question, how old is Cap in 2022?
Even if, I mean, he's got to be if he was 19 or 20 when he enlisted and stuff like that, he's got to be is getting close to 100, but he's Cap, so he's still going to look pretty good. And I liked how they did that little thing at the end where he was kind of wearing a similar outfit that Stan Lee always wore.
That I didn't catch.
I got that. Well, when I met him in person, he was wearing almost the exact same outfit. And I thought that was nice that...
Wait, you met Chris Evans in person?
No, I met Stan Lee in person.
Oh, okay.
And meeting Stan Lee in person, and he was wearing an outfit almost identical to what Cap was wearing. But then it also had that, there are changes that, take place and transitions and passing the torch to new beginnings that are historical, with Cap giving that to the Anthony Mackie character. That's fantastic. I thought this was, it's one of my top films of the year, and it's going to stay that way. I can't wait to buy it.
The big question, of course, everyone asking is, what happens next? And what happens next is Spider-Man Far From Home, which unfortunately also marks the end of a certain deal with Sony. So we will be waiting for bated breath to find out what is going to happen to Spider-Man after Far From Home.
Well, it's too bad with everything. I mean, if we're talking about spoilers, what I would like to see, though, even if it's not has anything to do with the Marvel Universe, is Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. in films to come, because I love their chemistry together. And I'm glad that they had that moment in End Game.
I couldn't even imagine why Robert Downey Jr. would want to keep working. I mean, he made $50 million in an Avenger movie. It was just ridiculous what he was getting paid.
Oh, yeah. There's certain aspects of it that I knew was going to happen. I predicted certain things, but there's also aspects of it that, are very telling and serious, like dealing with PTSD and survivor's guilt. And I think Thor has the most complex arc of the entire film. And then it's nice to see Mark Ruffalo have fun with his role with the Hulk, who, wearing those nerdy glasses and being the hulky green and having fun with it and realizing how ridiculous the Hulk was. That was a little bit of humor that you never saw in any of the Avengers films with him. So
you're referring to, of course, Professor Hulk.
Yes, that was great. And then also the fact that he's so popular and poor little Ant-Man And it's like, yeah, you know me, I'm Ant-Man. Just take the goddamn camera. I don't want it. Like, that was hilarious. But I mean, it's equal humor and drama. You've got the laughs, you've got the tears. I mean, it's pretty freaking phenomenal movie. And even if you haven't seen all 21 films or even the Avengers films, it's still like packs a punch. And that's something that I'm glad that my friends who aren't as nerdy as me, they loved it. So, I mean, it's one of those films, like when it's making billions of dollars, it's worth it. Take my money. It's great. I want them to make, if they're going to spend the money to make the money like this, then keep on doing it, because this is what we need to see more of Hollywood.
Definitely. The Avengers End Game, again, was the biggest movie of the year. People were wondering what was going to be bigger, Avengers End Game or The Rise of Skywalker. I would be shocked if Star Wars comes anywhere near what the Avengers is making right now. It's unbelievable, and we got more films to go. I mean, it might be the end of the Avengers, or at least this iteration of the Avengers, but it's definitely not the end of Marvel. It's definitely not the end of Marvel movies in general. That's for damn sure. I mean, with the acquisition of Fox, they're going to have control of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four finally, and we will hopefully be getting something big in the way of that. And by something big, it could mean anything in terms of like what is, the big question will be, what is going to be the next villain they're going to build up to, because they've spent so much time building up to Thanos, and Thanos paid off. Josh Brolin was amazing in that role, especially in the first movie. A lot more character development in the first movie, whereas in the second movie, it's kind of a repeat, but it's definitely amazing what he does with that role of Thanos. What Thanos believes what he needs to do, whereas he is inevitable, and like the scene where he sees himself getting his head chopped off, that was like, when Gamora asked what does that mean, he goes, that was destiny fulfilled.
Yep.
Like, he's not afraid to die. So
no.
as long as he gets what he wants to do. Thanos is like a one note wonder in the comic books or whatever, something they've steered away from a lot. In the comic books, he is a worshiper of death. He wants to bang death so hard, it becomes a little bit obsessive. I mean, he literally is a fanboy of death. And, sometimes he gets her and sometimes she scorns him. And that was like something they decided just not to do in the movies, because it just makes him come across as like, oh, she doesn't love me. I'm going to kill everybody in the universe or whatever to appease her. So they didn't do that. But thank you, Katie, for your excellent talk about the Avengers End Game, the biggest movie of the year. Check out the rest of the videos here on the Radio Horror YouTube channel.
I love you 3000, Avengers End Game.